What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Knives of the Round Table. My name is Marco, and today we have kind of a special treat. We're going to be talking about the Shirogorov Knives F3 NS. Now, my goal in this channel is to give you, some kind of a everyday knife, in the flavor of, Spyderco and Benchmade, things that we can that are more affordable and that we can get more readily. And then my goal is also to give you that next level, the Chris Reeve, the Rick Kinder knives, higher end production. And then finally, I hope to give you every now and again, some of the grail knives, right? Some of the special knives that you would get, for kind of a special occasion, to celebrate an accomplishment, to celebrate a 10-year anniversary, those kinds of things. So the Shirogorov F3 NS definitely falls in the grail category, in the special category, I think. And this is going to be a little bit of a longer review because I think if you're going to spend $1,000, and make no mistake, these cost $1,000, then I have to give you a little bit more time and a little bit more detail on why these knives are worth that money or why you should spend that much money. I can't spend 10 minutes on a pair of three and 10 minutes on a Shirogorov. It just wouldn't do it justice to the Shirogorov. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add to this video kind of a tour of the knife, okay? And I have two versions of the knife here, and hopefully I can capture a lot of the details. Now, I've seen videos of these knives in the past, and the videos usually don't do it justice, so I'm gonna try and showcase them to you, but you're gonna have to take my word for it that they are better in person than they are on camera. So I'm gonna jump at some point into size comparisons and everything else, but let me give you kind of a tour of the knife, okay? The knife comes in this is the Shirogorov F3 NS, and it comes in four different colors. You have the bronze color, with the bronze back spacer and the bronze hardware. You have the blue. They make a purple one, and then they have a plain titanium. And what they've done is they have carbon fiber that matches the color of the hardware, right? If you have blue hardware, they've got blue carbon fiber. Bronze, this one has, the carbon fiber has these bronze specks when it shimmers. The plain titanium has kind of silver specks, and the purple one, it's similar to the blue in that you get some of the blue coloring. So let's jump in and let me show you. So it took me a long time to jump into the Shirogorov bandwagon, and the reason for that is that I'm drawn to more interesting blades, to blades that have compound grinds, fullers, wedges, all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, the blade on the Shirogorov knives is more minimalistic, right? It's just this very simple drop point. It has a swedge here, a little bit maybe, but for the most part it's a simple blade. So it took me a long time. Now, the second reason it took me a long time is that this is a liner lock. And because it's a liner lock, I usually prefer frame locks. But, I saw them, I've seen reviews, and I decided to jump on these. So, the blade. It's not a small blade, okay? You're looking 3 3/4 inch blade, a little bit over 3 3/4. So it's not a small blade, but it is a flat ground drop point blade with a little bit of a swedge. It's done in M390. I believe they've different generations of the F3 have been done in different steels. I know at least they've done it in LMAX, and they've done it in several other steels. The latest iteration of the F3, which is called the NS new series, it's done in M390. So it's an M390 blade of 3 3/4 inches, and then you have this swedge on top that I think it looks really nice, especially the way it becomes like this thicker up top to reinforce the tip. I think that's really well done. The crown is chamfered and rounded, nothing sharp here, and then it's got this jimping that is really good. I'm not sure how effective it is, but I think it's attractive, and it certainly adds a little bit of traction to when you put your thumb in the back. Now, getting back, you have the pivot, which is kind of like it's a proprietary Shirogorov pivot, which is kind of like a flat head that doesn't quite reach the other end. On the other side is just the plain titanium, and then you have this scale. So let me show you this. The liners on the Shirogorov are so thick that you'd almost be tempted to call it a frame lock with carbon fiber overlays. Okay, the frame is so thick that it mostly feels like a frame lock with just this carbon fiber on top of it. Obviously, that's the definition of a liner lock, but what I'm trying to point is that the liners in this are nowhere near as thin as most liner locks. So you've got these carbon fiber scales, and they are contoured in this direction. Let me see if I can show you this way how that looks. And it's got this texture. If I run my finger on it, you know, there's a sound there. So they have this milling texture, and then in this area here, I don't know if you can tell, with the carbon fiber, you never know if I'm showing it right, but it's got like these dimples, these divots, and you also have them over here, and they kind of give you this, you know, where your fingers land. They give you right here. They give you this traction, you know, for gripping the knife, and because it's contoured and textured, and it's got fat liners, and it's got pretty decent thickness carbon fiber, this knife feels the hand really, really, really well. Now, you know, I've seen a lot of carbon fiber before, and I can tell you that not all carbon fibers are the same. I'm sure there's a lot of carbon fiber manufacturers out there, and whoever Shirogorov is getting it from, it is top notch. It is some of the nicest carbon fiber I've ever seen. Okay, so you have to, there's a quality in the materials that they've chosen that is just above what you normally get. You know, sometimes you say, well, it's a carbon fiber scale, but what I'm trying to say is that not all of them are made the same way. Now, continuing on, like I said, you have a liner lock, you have a lock bar insert in here that you almost can't even tell, and you only have one screw in the back for the back spacer, and that is it. That's all you have for the assembly of the knife, for the disassembly of the knife. You have a back spacer that kind of matches the clip, that it has this jimping that kind of matches that. So and you have a milled titanium clip. So so that's kind of the tour of the knife. That's what you're going to see, and hopefully, as we progress in the review, I can tell you why this is. It's an expensive knife. It's worth it to be in your grail bucket list, but also why I think even at this price, I think the Shirogorov F3 NS is an excellent value. So let me get one out of the way here and bring you some size comparisons, because like I said, it's not a small knife, but let me show you. So this is the Spyder Para 2, and that's the Para 3. Okay, so as you can see, it's longer than the Para 2, so it's a very large, it's a large knife, But it's weird because see, you have probably like 3/4 of an inch more blade than the Parrot 2. So you have a lot of blade, but when you carry it, when you compress it in the pocket, it feels smaller than the Parrot 2. It's the width of the Parrot 2 just makes it much taller, although thickness, again, because of the liners and the scale, it's much thicker than the Parrot 2. You can see there. Now let me give you another size comparison here. That's against the bug out and the mini bug out. So it has the feel, right? A drop point, with a contoured handle of a bug out is just a much bigger, higher quality version of that knife. So that's a little bit of the tour. And before I go any further, I do want to tell you that there's a tactile quality to these knives. There's something about certain quality items that you don't realize until you have it in your hand and you're like, yeah, I can feel it. I can feel the quality. And that is very much present in the Shirogorov F3 NS. I've held, for example, like a Holt knife. When you hold a Holt, when you put it in your hand, you're like, yeah, this is high quality stuff. So that's what you definitely have that, and you're gonna have to take my word for it or try it for yourself, and you'll see that there is a tactile quality to the sheer build quality and fit and finish of these knives. So let me get into ergonomics. And the ergonomics on this knife are excellent. You have this palm swedge, you have this finger groove here, and it just because it's thicker liners and thicker scales, it feels the hand really, really well. Your finger lands on this jimping perfectly. The clip is wider and fairly shallow and flat, so you almost never feel it in the hand. It obviously it meets the hollow of your hand when you close it, but it's so well made and it's rounded. It has like this taper down this way that you never feel the clip. The ergonomics on this is excellent. You can cut for days with this and never feel it. The ergonomics are just phenomenal. Because it's thicker, because it's contoured, it feels your hand, and it's so good. I would call it, more ergonomic than the Parrot 2. The Parrot 2 has this contouring here that helps it a lot, but because it's not contoured in this direction, the F3 NS is by far much more comfortable in the hand. Now I wear large gloves, so you can see I still have a good 1/2 inch in the back. So even if you have larger hands than me, this knife is gonna fit you very well. You don't get a forward finger choil, so you're a little bit far away from the action, but holding it is just so nice. The action on a Shirogorov is everything you've heard. It is the best action that I've ever experienced, period. The deployment of the knife, it just deploys and fires like crazy, and the closing is just this. It drops shot, as you can see, right? But it's always a controlled drop shot. As long as you have to breach that detent, but it's not the finger guillotine that the Evo 2.0 or the Crimson or Norseman are, but it's this controlled drop shot that I like even more. I believe that the action on a Shirogorov knife out of my entire collection is the one that is the best. Now deploying, maybe the Curtis fires better, but it's also because the blade on the Shirogorov is actually much longer, so sometimes it's a little bit harder to move that much blade. But again, it fires so well, and the jimping on the flipper tab is done perfectly. So the action is just phenomenal. I have Grimsmo knives, I have Custom Knife Factory, I have Hinders, I have all of those knives, and the action, this is just better than a Riot, better than all of those. The action on a Shirogorov is just out of this world. Is the best I've ever felt. I don't know, sometimes it's hard to gauge the action, because obviously I haven't experienced all of the actions on the planet, but I've experienced a fair decent amount, and this is I can't say enough. It is so nice, and it's so nice because even though it's a liner lock, the access to the lock is so nicely done that it's so easy to disengage that I find myself just flipping this knife. It is just a fidget monster because it is so easy to disengage. The detent is perfectly tuned. It's just it is phenomenal. It is awesome, and it is the best action I've ever felt. Now, fit and finish is flawless. That's what I can say. There's nothing in this knife that is that doesn't fit, that is not rounded, that it doesn't match perfectly, that is not perfectly done. The fit and finish on a Shirogorov knife is just excellent. It's just perfect, and I haven't seen that happen in many knives. You can see it in some custom knives, and that's why I mean that I think that this is excellent value, because the combination of everything that the knife has to offer is on par with many custom knives. And the fact that you get it for $1,000, custom knives, they're $1,500, probably the cheapest ones you'll get, and you start getting into $2,000 and $3,000. And this, you get this incredible knife for $1,000. Yes, it's a tremendous amount of money. It's so much money, but it's also a great value. Now, cutting with this is actually very good. Again, it's a minimalistic blade, but what you get with this blade is that because you have this flat grind, it comes down to a really nice and thin edge, and it's a laser beam. It just cuts so well first. I mean, it comes so sharp out of the box. It's so sharp, but it cuts, kind of like a Koenig Arius, maybe a little bit better than a Koenig Arius. The flat grind on this is you got a little bit of belly, and it just pushes through cardboard and food preparation and rope, and I've used it to cut all those things, and it just slices through like nothing is there. It's not a knife that I would take for harder use, just because it's $1,000 and I don't want to use it for harder tasks, but definitely for everyday tasks, the blade, although minimalistic, is highly utilitarian. It is just very good for cutting tasks. And ultimately, knives are tools, and as a tool for cutting, it's just outstanding. It is just really great. Airing of grievances, dislikes of the knife. Man, not a lot or none. Proprietary hardware, I wish they didn't do that. It's almost just a flat head, but not quite it. So you need a special tool for disassembly. They don't sell the tool for disassembly. You have to buy a pen that has the bits, and the pen is $300. So I don't enjoy that. It's just something that I think I'm fine with proprietary hardware if you include the tool to do it. If you don't include the tool to do it and you charge me $350 for a pen, that's something that I do not appreciate at all. I think other than that, I don't have many grievances on this knife. This is the best knife in my collection. I'm gonna link to the top 10 knives in my collection at the time that I filmed that, and you can see which knives I think this is better than, okay, which knives this beat out as the best knife in my collection, and that's why I ended up with 2 of them, even though they're super expensive. It's just I enjoy carrying them, I enjoy collecting them, flipping them, and using them, and that's why I think they're tremendous value, because of what you get, the quality of carbon fiber, the jimping, the milling, the quality of the blade, the action, the fit and finish. I think is beyond what they're charging for it. Now, actually, in the airing of grievances, I'm gonna hit something else. The naming convention of Shirogorov. Oh, please God, you guys need to change that. So the original model was the F3, and then they added an R for refined, and then they changed the R to NS for new series. Well, what happens when the next generation of F3 NS for the new series is no longer going to be the new one, it's going to be the old one? So are you going to do the new series? You know, just do version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 or something, you know, or ABC or something, just such that the naming convention doesn't, you know, so that it doesn't confuse anybody. As of November of 2021, the NS is the latest version of the F3, but I'm not sure how they're going to call it in the future. Okay, so the naming convention is something that I really don't like. Well, guys, I believe that I've beaten that horse to death. I think that the F3 NS is the best knife in my collection. I would put it as a grail knife against Konigiri. Is better than a Grimstone Horseman, better than well, it's close to Custom Knife Factory, some of them, but I would still say that this is probably better. And the only reason I think it's probably better is because the Custom Knife Factory, they have so many models and they go from one model to another model, that although they're crazy good knives, they haven't achieved the level of refinement on a specific model that these guys have. Again, they're outstanding, excellent, super good knives, but you know, at some point you have to declare a winner, and I think the F3 NS is a clear winner. And look, they've got a bear for a logo. How cool is that? I mean, that's got to be the best logo in the knife world, right? I mean, it's so, the angular futuristic bear, you know, coming out of Russia is just so well done and so fitting that I just think it's awesome. Oh, I forgot to tell you, in the tour, it has like this inconspicuous lanyard hold back here in case you want to add a lanyard. It's really well done. It's just tucked in, and you don't even, if you don't want to use it, you don't even feel it's there. Well, guys, again, put this in your bucket list. Go somewhere where you can grab one. If you're nervous about holding one or purchasing one, you know, sight unseen, go to a show where they're going to be presenting, or go, you know, if you happen to be in California where Recon 1 is, go take a look. They are outstanding, incredible knives, and very worthy to be part of your bucket list. Guys, hopefully this has been informative. If you liked it, then hit like. If you want to see more, then subscribe. And by no chance should you hit that notification button. Nobody likes the notifications. Nobody likes to be bugged. You know, if you have some time and you want to come enjoy some knife content, come to my channel. Don't hit the notifications, okay? Until I see you again, take care.